because it's usually unfair to look at 1 week of anything in baseball. It's that much more unfair to look at 1 week of hitting in baseball. But, as we keep saying when it comes to the subject of the current management team, it's not about 1 week. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Pirates 4, Rays 2. Paul Skenes almost single-handedly ending his team's 4-game losing streak and allowing the team to come home 2-5 as opposed to 1-6. I guess if you're into small triumphs, there's a small triumph. Not to take anything away from the kid, of course. He was something. 7 innings, 1 unearned run, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts, no walks. Just fired away. 102 pitches, 72 strikes. He's got, in addition to everything else that there is special about Skenes, he's got horse written all over him. And for those of you who are too young to know what that term means in this beautiful sport, that's back when starting pitchers used to get you innings like this on a regular basis. And from there, end up with 200 innings and 30 starts. And good for him. Got a little hairy there at the end. Colin Holderman continues to struggle, but Ryan Borucki made an outrageously good pitch to bail Holderman out of the 8th inning. Dennis Santana coming on for his first save. O'Neal Cruz with a home run, a sac fly, a couple of hits total. Adam Frazier with a couple of hits out of the leadoff spot, one of them bringing a run home. And that was that. Brian Reynolds, who's dealing with a triceps issue, became known yesterday. Went 0 for 5 with a K. Who knows how much that's affecting him. But otherwise, the excuses or explanations or whatever it is that you'd like to call them don't really add up. It's just a team that's not going to hit. If I look at 7 games so far for the Pirates, they are 5th from the last in Major League Baseball, a .569 OPS. To put that into more old school terms, for those of you who don't subscribe to the new school, they're batting .197. Got a .291 on base percentage. 4 total home runs in 234 at-bats. And their split between strikeouts and walks is 66 of the former, 28 of the latter. 19 runs in 7 games. And this is why, if you go back to some of the stuff that I was saying in the offseason when some were getting justifiably excited about the rotation when Jared Jones was healthy, and you could see a 1-2-3 of Skenes, Mitch Keller, and Jones, and then you put on a good professional start that you should reasonably expect based on their history from the 2 lefties, Bailey Falter and Andrew Heaney, and you say, all right, there might be something here. And I just kept, not to be a downer, but because I couldn't get past the bullpen, first of all, which I never understood why anybody was excited about. Not for one split second. I happen to believe in Holderman. I believe he'll come around. I know that's not a popular opinion. I have no idea what to think about where David Bednar is, and I have no idea what to think of the rest of this group, including the guys who've done well, meaning Santana, meaning Borucki. But regardless, you were never going to get anywhere without hitting at all. That's what's happening, and that's what's happened from the 2020 season onward. And it's at this point that you really do have to abandon the micro and go macro here, because this is on Ben Cherington. Yes, they've had lousy hitting instruction. Yes, Andy Haynes deserved to lose his job. Yes, Derek Shelton, who had that job in a previous life, shouldn't run from it the way he has for 5 years and change. He always should have handled the hitting coach role in some sort of dual capacity the way Clint Hurdle did before him. Clint never disavowed his inner hitting coach. He would say, I'm still that guy. I'm still behind the cage watching these guys swing. I'm not going to stay silent on it. That's not how Cherington has conducted business, but it still comes down to player recognition, player acquisition, and then player instruction. And all three of those ultimately fall upon the GM. Got this from a listener yesterday, and it's an AI request for research. And for anybody who doesn't know what that means, artificial intelligence, you can basically just ask a question like, how bad has Cherington been at finding hitters or, creating offense? And it's amazing, and at the same time, at least a little bit intimidating, what these robots can pull off now. I'm going to read to you in its entirety here. It's just 2 long sentences that the robot produced on this subject. The Pittsburgh Pirates front office under general manager Ben Cherington has devolved into a case study in organizational failure marked by historic underperformance in hitter acquisition, developmental stagnation, and a systemic inability to leverage pitching assets into offensive competence. I'm pausing here just to catch my breath because that's the greatest sentence I've ever read, and I really wish I'd written it. Okay, second sentence. The user's observation, I don't even know what that means, that Cherington's acquired hitters have collectively produced negative 4.2 WAR, that's wins above replacement player, it's a catch-all stat, over 5 seasons, compared to Neil Huntington's 198.4 WAR and Dave Littlefield's 62.7 WAR is not merely striking, but unprecedented in modern Major League Baseball history. Where can I find one of these robots to hire them? I want them on staff. That's amazing stuff. Now, WAR, just to try to be a little bit fair here, is a cumulative stat, meaning the longer you're around, the more you can add to your number. So Huntington was the GM for 12 years, so he's going to have more opportunities to accumulate. However, he was never at a minus 4.2. I want it understood here what this actually means. Over 5 seasons plus, meaning plus this week, Cherington's acquired hitters, people that he has brought into the organization, are collectively worse than the average replacement player that you'd use if they weren't available. That's what wins above replacement means. Wins above replacement player. Who's your average player? How many wins does he get you? And then from there, how much do you go above or below that? In 5+ years, he's below that. And part of the reason for that is, as I keep saying, Reynolds, acquired by Huntington. Cruz, acquired by Huntington. Kutch, acquired by Littlefield. Very, 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 very few good hitters acquired by Cherington, who really, really should not have a job as we're speaking. When we come back, J1Q.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragechek.org. That's gunstoragechek.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Bill Messer, who says, DK, so you call for firing Ben Cherington, Derek Shelton, and staff. What is your plan for replacing them in season? Who's your interim GM? Who's your interim manager? I actually think these are kind of easy answers, Bill. And that's without, being in their world and knowing who they might like or might not like for various reasons. But Kevin Graves has been part of the team's management for 17 years now. He goes back through the beginning of the Neil Huntington tenure, and he's been utilized in this capacity previously. So he's there. He's been an interim GM. That was what he did when Huntington got fired. So I think that's an easy one for Bob Nutting, and Travis Williams would be in on this as well, to choose. The interim manager, I think, is just as easy, because Don Kelly has been a very real candidate for managerial openings in the recent past. He's interviewed for them. He's immensely qualified. If you're looking for a different voice, which you usually are when you do something like this, Donnie's he's a guy who has so much respect from the clubhouse, from the players who are around him, who learn from him, for what he did in the majors, for the passion that he has for the job that he's got, meaning being the bench coach. And then from the public standpoint, listen, never forget that this is part of it, okay? It really is. There are few jobs in the general view of humans in the United States that are more visible than that of a baseball manager. You speak every day through the media, not once, but twice a day. And here in Pittsburgh specifically, you're trying to do a lot of what Clint Hurdle did. You're trying to do that rebonding the city with its baseball team. There's no doubt in my mind that Donnie can do that. Now, the next conversation he and I will have had on this subject, formally or otherwise, will be the first. I'm not a believer in going around trying to get people in trouble, and Donnie's a loyal guy. He's not going to be making moves like that either. So I don't want you to think that when you hear this. But I think these are readily obvious moves, and then you make them on an interim basis. As I was told recently by someone within the structure, whenever you change the GM, you're changing almost everything. That new GM, whoever that is, whether they come in from the outside or whether they're already here, they have to put their own imprint on everything globally related to all operations. And that's very, very hard to do, if not impossible, in season. But that's why you have the interim designations. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We're going to do another one of these tomorrow on the occasion, the city of Pittsburgh's 144th home opener.